Hello, my name is Diana Jarvis, and today I'm speaking with Abdoulie Jammeh. In 2013, we decided to take the scheme to Africa for 1 year and worked with Nusrat High School in the Gambia. It was an opportunity to give students from other parts of the world the chance to experience working for the British media. Abdoulie applied for the position and worked alongside the British students, writing 1 article per month for the duration of the scheme. Welcome, Abdoulie, and thank you so much for joining us this morning from the Gambia. I was interested to know how you heard about the scheme in the first place.
Thank you very much, Diana. Thanks for having me. So, when I was in high school, sometime in 2013, I believe, as a budding journalist in high school at the time, because I was very much involved in the student newspaper group in my high school at the time. So, I was looking for opportunities to get international experience, as they were known at the time for me. And the only experience for me was just managing the student newspaper group in my high school. So, as somebody who was very ambitious to get more international experience, I started researching a lot of opportunities for international students like myself at the time. Out of luck, I just found this, amazing opportunity to become a reporter, a student reporter for the Young Reporter Scheme run by the newspaper group. So I was not very sure, and I wasn't very clear if I was going to be considered for it, because I saw it was limited to only British students, and coming from Africa, I wasn't sure if I was going to be accepted to participate as an international overseas correspondent for this scheme. So I just, that was when I sent you an email to sort of check if I was eligible and if that is something I can definitely do. So basically, I found the opportunity while, making a bunch of research on the internet to see if there can be any opportunities available to me to sort of share my perspective, my experiences as a student in Africa to the international audience. So that's how I got to find out about this opportunity.
Yes, I mean, it's amazing that we actually reached you in Africa, because we had only been going a very short time at that stage. And it was really great to hear from somebody. And it was good for us to be able to extend the scheme for that year. Abdoulie, how difficult was it for you to complete the scheme, bearing in mind that you had restricted internet access at the time?
Well, very good question. To start with, so from this side of the world, internet is always a problem most of the time. So, and can you imagine, from high school, I don't even have internet access from the school. So also, because I don't have a cell phone, the only way to be able to send my articles over to you at the time was to go to a print shop, like a cyber cafe, basically. We call it an internet cafe. So I always have to go there, pay some money to giving some time, for example, an hour or 30 minutes to be able to upload my articles. So that's how I've been managing to send my articles over to you at the time. It was very challenging. Internet was a luxury here. It was very difficult for someone to really get good access to the internet to be able to send anything over the internet. So it was quite challenging for me. It was a bit of a hassle, really, to get those articles to you, but I'm glad I managed to get them over to you.
Well, you certainly managed to do it, which was excellent, in the circumstances. But where did you get your inspiration for the articles that you did write for us?
Right. So I believe at the time, Africa was underreported. As a budding journalist, so ambitious, you wanted to sort of, change the narrative, because so much is negatively reported about our beautiful continent. So as a budding journalist at the time, I wanted to sort of change that perspective. I feel there are very interesting stories coming out of here that would interest international audience, particularly students in the United Kingdom. So that's my number one inspiration, the fact that I want to report about my continent in a way that would interest students in the, I mean, general audience in the UK. So that's one of my main inspiration. Is drawn on the fact that I want to get a lot of experience writing for a very renowned British press. So that was one of that's another inspiration I had, the fact that I want to get more experience working or reporting for a British newspaper. That's another inspiration for me, and that's what constantly kept me going. So to tell these beautiful stories about what's happening, sort of in that picture of how we live here, our school system, a range of interesting stories that would really be of benefit to the reading public, in the UK, to sort of get a sense of, what's this very small, tiny little country called the Gambia. What are some of the things they do, the education system, social issues affecting youth, and climate change, a range of things that really I was able to write on.
It was interesting for us, and it was interesting for our students to see a different way of life. So, we were really pleased and thrilled, really, that you came and joined us for that year. But after leaving school, what did you do initially?
Right. So I graduated from high school in 2015, and then I then went on to secure admission at the University of the Gambia School of Journalism and Digital Media. So I still wanted to continue my passion for journalism, media, and communications. So I decided to apply for a place at the School of Journalism and Digital Media to pursue a bachelor's degree in journalism and digital media. So at the time when I joined the school, it was, a relatively newer school because, coming from a dictatorship, Gambia has been ruled by Africa's brutal dictators at the time. So the press was massively censored and opportunities for journalism were limited. So it was not even a priority for the government to sort of have a journalism school as part of the university. Things were slightly changing or improving at the time, so there was a need to have a journalism school to serve as a center to train the next generation of Gambian journalists. So just to give you a bit of a background, so previously Gambian journalists would have to either be self-trained or mentored by those that were already in the field. There was no formal education in journalism and media training at the time. And in fact, I think that even had an impact on the quality of journalism in the country because there was no school you could go to learn journalism. So it was all more hands-on. You learned while doing the job. So when I graduated, I thought I wanted to go to the university to get a degree in journalism and digital media to sort of advance my knowledge and sort of become more competitive to start even reporting roles for the foreign press. So I did that degree. It's a very exciting degree, going through all the amazing things in journalism, getting both the practical and theoretical, aspects of journalism, and also, bits on communication, and also how to take advantage and leverage the digital space to sort of enhance our reporting and all of that. So it's a very interesting program, and that went on for like 4 years. And while in university, I started working for the international media because if you can remember, back in 2016, Gambia went through a very transformative change in which our dictator was voted out and a new sort of democracy emerged. And so during that
Yeah.
time, there was a lot of spotlight on Gambia, and so there were not a lot of foreign press present on the ground. So I was, because of my online presence, and because I was at the time I was also very present on social media platforms like Twitter. I was spot out by some of the roving correspondents who needed some sort of information from Gambia. I did some work with the international media, bringing them up to speed with what's happening in Gambia during the elections.
But
And
that
then
must have been
I
brilliant for you because it must have been
right,
fantastic to be able to showcase what was happening out there
right,
when the
right.
British press couldn't get in.
Right, absolutely. That was an incredible experience for me working for international media, really. I did work with a range of British, French, and European media as well. So that was really, really good for me. And thanks to the experience from the Young Reporter Scheme, because like I said, there was no formal institution or a center for training of journalism in this country. So journalists had to, learn while doing the job, and that impacted the quality of journalism. But because the Young Reporter Scheme was more helping young reporters harness their skills and hone their skills and become, good reporters, that really helped me to sort of sharpen my skills, to be able to report and work with international media. So thanks to the Young Reporter program, that really helped me, develop my skills as a young journalist. That really massively impacted on my work with international media on a positive note.
So tell me about your sort of journey now. What are you actually doing?
So right now, a few years ago, I was actually very interested in working in the development and humanitarian sector. So at the time also, I was interested in this very important theme of migration, which became a very hot topic. At the time, there was a wave of migrants, leaving, my country, or this part of Africa, through very risky and dangerous journeys to go to Europe. And as a Gambian, I was massively impacted by this because my family, in fact, my brother actually died, taking those risky, dangerous journeys to go to Europe.
Yes, I
Um,
remember.
Right. So he was part of the famous migrant boat disaster of the source of Libya. So that sort of gave me an inspiration to sort of really look into migration, or sort of get involved at some point, and also contribute my part to sort of contributing to awareness raising, because I feel there is a lot of awareness lack in terms of why these young people would leave their countries and want to travel to Europe through very dangerous and risky journeys. So there's a lot of awareness on that front in terms of knowing the dangers or the consequences of taking such journeys. So I decided to seek internship with a UN agency, which this is the International Organization for Migration. It's the UN's migration agency looking into migration. And at the time, they were just newly establishing, looking into programs to sort of support young people to stay in the country and do a lot of awareness raising as to the dangers of those journeys and some of the opportunities that exist in the country that they can take advantage of, than travel and probably lose their lives while traveling to very dangerous places like Libya at the time, which was a very dangerous place to be at. I got an internship as a communications assistant, doing a lot of communication related tasks, from writing reports, monitoring the discourse of migration in the media, to raising awareness both in the communities and both on national platforms to sort of, really raise a lot of awareness on the dangers of taking those roads, and the what opportunities young people here can take advantage of as an alternative to traveling irregularly to Europe. So I did that for I think a couple of months, and I was giving a contract sort of as a consultant to continue working with them because of the incredible work that we've started. We've started seeing the numbers dropping because that was renewed or intensified awareness among young people. So I did that for almost a year. And then I got a big opportunity with another UN agency or another UN entity to become a communications and community liaison associate for a European Union funded rural infrastructure program connecting rural communities to markets and socioeconomic facilities. So that's what I've been doing until now. And because of my, my performance on the job, I've now been elevated as a project manager for almost 3 transactional projects, the UN Office for Project Services. So it's been an incredible 3 years, graduated from the scheme through the university, and now to become a full-time professional working in the development and humanitarian sector, impacting on the lives of vulnerable and underprivileged communities, elevating their social and economic status to become very, very empowered people in their communities.
So we're going back to your migration stories. Was there a lot of censorship about what you were writing?
Not really. So because at the time there was a change in government, so obviously there was a space for democracy and freedom of speech and expression. There was not a lot of censorship, really. I mean, you can imagine it's I was working for the UN, so obviously there were some requirements in terms of my reporting, what sort of articles I write, and what sort of content I need to be able to write on. There was not a lot of censorship. I was given the space and freedom to write, of course, with supervision. There was not really some sort of censorship at the time on the stories of migration that I write, not even in the local media. So because it was a very boring topic at the time, so journalists would have to play their part also to be able to do a lot of awareness raising and stop young people from traveling irregularly.
So what are your plans for the future now?
Because there were not a lot of opportunities in journalism at the time in Gambia, and that's what shifted my interest in communications and media, which is still practically journalism. So my plans right now is to continue working in communication, basically corporate communications for international organizations or NGOs, because I feel communication plays an important role in communicating, their message or their mandate, and sort of connecting with the local communities. These are the beneficiaries of, all the projects NGOs or the UN entities implement in Gambia. So, I want to continue on this journey in corporate communication to be able to communicate effectively the impact of development and humanitarian projects in Gambia, and also to sort of portray the incredible work these agencies are doing in Gambia in empowering local communities to become self-sufficient and empowered. So I want to continue on that, and also obviously I want to do my graduate. I want to do my graduate studies. So I want to get a master's degree in international development at some point in the UK. I'd planned to do this early last year, but I still want to get a bit more experience. So that will sort of shape my graduate studies. So right now the plan is I want to work for another year. So let's say by 2022, I want to start looking into the possibilities of getting a master's degree in international development that is going to sort of give me the expert sort of training to be able to work in development and tackle real development issues, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa,
Yeah.
to advance support and development. So that's the plan for me right now. But for now, I want to continue what I am doing, working closely with local communities and improving their lives through development efforts or development interventions that we're providing to these communities to become better empowered, very sustainable future.
Well, Abdoulie, it has been a pleasure talking to you today, and you have done really well. And it's been humbling for us to be involved in your journey. So I thank you for talking to me, and I really wish you all the very best for the future.
Thank you very much, Diana, and I want to thank you singularly for the amazing support you've given me and the opportunity to be able to participate in the scheme that has massively contributed in my journey to be where I am today. So I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Oh, it was a
I'm humbled to
pleasure.
be and thank you so much for playing your part in my journey to become where I am, to become a very productive young professional. So that I'm very grateful, and I want to say thank you and wish you very well. And I want to say the scheme is an incredible opportunity to sort of groom and develop the next generation of very good reporters. So, and I think this scheme has done just that because my story is a true reflection of that. I wouldn't think without that opportunity, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm truly grateful.
Oh, you're really welcome, and we look forward to continually watching your progress as you forge ahead in your career. This has been Diana Jarvis from the Young Reporter Scheme, talking to Abdoulie Jammeh from the Gambia.